We tried again and again to prevent this war. And for the sake of peace, we put up with a lot of things happening which ought not to have happened. But now we are at war, and we are going to make war, and persevere in making war until the other side have had enough of it.
In the spring of 1940, Europe was holding its breath. France, one of the world's strongest militaries, believed it was safe behind the legendary Maginot Line. Months had passed since the war began, a quiet period known as the Phony War. But on May 10th, silence shattered. Germany moved. Fast. Faster than anyone thought possible. What France didn't know was that the German army was about to fight a completely different kind of war, fueled by speed, surprise, and a little white pill called Pervitin, a stimulant handed out to soldiers by the millions to keep them awake and charging forward for days at a time. This wasn't the slow trench warfare of World War I. This was lightning. Why Germany attacked? By early 1940, Hitler believed Germany was standing in a rare and extremely narrow strategic window. Britain and France had declared war months earlier, but neither had launched a serious offensive. Their armies were massive, but spread out, defensive, and psychologically shaken by the memory of World War I. To Hitler, this wasn't caution, it was paralysis. Germany desperately needed resources, industrial territories, and access to the West. Most importantly, it needed to avoid another encirclement like the one that crushed the Kaiser's forces in 1918. The German leadership had learned a brutal lesson. Never attack France head-on where they expect you. The key was deception, speed, and striking where the enemy was most confident that nothing could happen. Hitler believed that if he moved before the Allies coordinated, he could break their defensive mindset, overwhelm their planning, and shape the entire war before it properly began.
We have been agreeably surprised that 10 weeks have been allotted to us to get into fighting Crimea. We are in a very different position from that we were in 10 weeks ago. We are far stronger than we were 10 weeks ago. We are far better prepared to endure the worst malice of Hitler and his Huns than we were at the beginning of September.
The invasion begins. At dawn, German armored forces surged into the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg. The French High Command immediately recognized the pattern, or thought they did. It looked exactly like the opening phase of the 1914 invasion. Convinced they were witnessing a repeat of history, they sent their strongest armies north to block what they believed was the main German attack. And that decision was precisely what Hitler had predicted. The true German breakthrough wasn't heading north at all. It was rolling directly into the Ardennes, a dense, rugged forest the French considered unsuitable for tanks. Because of this assumption, the region was lightly defended and poorly monitored. Germany gambled that its armored divisions could push through the terrain faster than anyone believed possible. Their entire plan relied on exploiting the Allies' expectations, and within hours, it became clear the French had misread the battlefield entirely. Speed as a weapon. What happened next didn't look like a conventional invasion at all. It looked like a shockwave. German tank divisions tore through the narrow forest roads at speeds that stunned even their own commanders. Many soldiers were fueled by Pervitin, a stimulant that kept them awake and driving for more than a full day. Reports began flooding French headquarters so quickly and so dramatically that officers assumed they were errors. Tanks already across the Meuse River? German units appearing behind French lines? It sounded impossible, but German strategy was built on exactly this effect. Move so fast that the enemy's entire system of communication collapses. France was structured for slow, deliberate warfare. Germany embraced rapid movement, flexible decision-making, and psychological pressure. By the time France tried to adjust, German forces were already far beyond every predicted position, turning speed into their most devastating weapon. The breakthrough. On May 13th, German forces launched their decisive push across the Meuse River near Sedan. What should have been a strong French defensive line crumbled with shocking speed. French troops fought bravely, But the German attack was executed with near-perfect synchronization. Stuka dive bombers struck relentlessly, shaking defenders and destroying communication lines. The moment the bombing paused, German tanks surged forward without hesitation. Infantry units followed instantly, refusing to wait for paperwork or delayed orders. This relentless rhythm, hit, move, hit again, became known as Blitzkrieg. It wasn't a formal doctrine, but a mindset built on momentum and overwhelming shock. By the time French High Command realized the main German offensive had come through the Ardennes, the breakthrough was complete. Germany had torn a gaping hole in the front, and France was struggling just to understand where the battle had gone. Total collapse. In only a matter of days, German armored divisions reached the English Channel, cutting the Allied armies into two disconnected halves. More than 300,000 British and French troops were trapped near Dunkirk, forced into a massive and desperate evacuation under fire. In Paris, fear spread rapidly. The government fled south, and civilians poured into the roads in chaotic columns. Meanwhile, the German army moved with astonishing speed. Towns fell so quickly that French units were sometimes driving toward battle lines that had already disappeared hours earlier. Communication collapsed. Defensive plans unraveled. Germany wasn't simply advancing. It was racing ahead faster than France's military structure could comprehend. After just 6 weeks of non-stop pressure, France, one of Europe's major powers, surrendered. The world watched in disbelief as a nation expected to fight for years collapsed in record time.
If we are conquered, all will be enslaved, and the United States will be left single-handed to guard the rights of men. If we are not destroyed, all these countries, ancient countries, many of them, will be rescued and restored to life and freedom.
Why France fell? France didn't fall because its soldiers lacked bravery. They fought hard. It fell because its entire system was too slow to match Germany's tempo. Germany moved faster than French communication lines could relay messages, faster than generals could issue new orders, faster than divisions could shift position. No one in 1940 imagined an army could physically move that quickly across Europe. French forces were preparing for a repeat of World War I. Static defenses, slow battles, and careful planning. Germany was fighting a new kind of war, one built on mobility, surprise, and non-stop pressure. Blitzkrieg wasn't merely about tanks. It was about overwhelming the enemy's decision-making ability until their command structure collapsed. France became the ultimate example of a modern truth. In fast mechanized warfare, speed can be more decisive than numbers, equipment, or even courage. And in 1940, no one moved faster than Germany.